Good morning, everyone. This is Rahul Kulkarni from Sarla Advantech. So thanks for joining. We will wait for a couple of minutes for other attendees to join. Maybe 2 minutes. So we'll wait for everyone, and then we'll begin the webinar. Thank you. So I think we'll begin our webinar now. So first of all, good morning, everyone, and thanks a lot for joining this webinar. And I hope everyone and your near and dear ones are keeping safe in this challenging times. So once again, thanks a lot for joining this webinar. Before beginning, I will just introduce you the tool via which you have joined this webinar is this GoToWebinar tool. So I will just brief you few things about it so that we'll have a good webinar session. So in this tool, we'll be conducting this webinar completely for the whole time is 1.5 hours. So out of that, at least 1 hour, few minutes will be delivering the webinar and all the updates and other things. And after that, we'll be having a question answer sessions. Okay, here the question answers, you need to type in the questions on the question section provided to you on the this GoToWebinar tool. So you can type in your questions at any time during the webinar, and we'll go through those questions at the end of the webinar. So you can just type in the questions, then we'll go through one by one all these questions at the end of the webinar. So that's how the concept will be for this complete session. Yeah, so I hope this is fine. So now I will introduce our team, how we are here. So my name is Rahul Kulkarni. I'm looking at the pre-sales team at Sarla Advantech, which is responsible for solution and designing, complete technical designing, product management things for the GE Digital as well as some other products which Sarla Advantech has. And this during this webinar, Nilesh Jangle from my team will be delivering it. This whole webinar, he's responsible for the GE products. So he will be mainly discussing with all those product updates and all these details will be there. And from apart from us, you must be aware that we have the sales team located in Delhi, in Bangalore, and in Mumbai in our head office. So the sales team, Mr. Vibhor Jain is there, Mr. Shinu is there, Mr. Sandeep Padwal is there. So these are some of the sales team members. So as most of you are aware and you are already using the GE products, and some of them are like you are planning to have the GE products in your solutions. So we'll be very happy to introduce you what are the latest updates So here, this G digital softwares will be comprised of mainly the SCADA systems, the historian, and the Webspace. So Nilesh will anyway will be covering the index and other things. So we'll be going in detail. So here we'll be giving you the latest updates which are available in the new releases of this version, and some of the like previous releases, 1 or 2 previous releases also. So that's how we'll be carrying out this whole session. So I request now Nilesh to start the webinar session, and he will continue. And in between, you can type in your questions, and we'll take those questions at the end of the webinar. Yeah. Thanks a lot, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you, Rahul. So good morning, all. I'm Nilesh Jangle. I'm working with Sarla Advantech from last 12 years, and currently I'm working with pre-sales team. So this is our today's agenda. So we'll first go through like new features which are available with GE iFIX SCADA. Then we'll move towards Cimplicity. It is another SCADA system from GE Digital. So we'll also go through the new features which are available with Cimplicity 11, which is the latest version of Cimplicity. Then we'll move to thin clients. So as you know that this Webspace, Prophecy Webspace, is a theme client available for GE iFIX as well as GE Cimplicity SCADA system. So we'll go through some of the basics of Webspace, and then we'll see the new features which are available with Webspace 6.0. Then finally, we'll go towards historian. So Prophecy historian. It is basically process historian available from GE Digital, which stores data in time series format. So we'll go through the basics of a Prophecy historian, and then we'll finally see the like new features which are available with the recent versions of the recent version of the historian. And end of the session, we'll have question answers which you are going to type in between the session. So we'll start with iFIX. I think moving prior to go for like new features which are available in the iFIX SCADA, we'll just go through the version history. So if you see here, I'll just start my laser pointer. So if you see the history right from 3.5 to 6.1, there are many versions released for GE iFIX SCADA. And earlier it was with like from 3.5 to 5.0, it was with GE Fanuc. Then from 5.1, GE has taken over the this software, and it is there with wholesale GE. So it is now GE Digital product. And if you see the recent version is 6.1, which is released around 2-3 months back. And there are also like prior versions like 6.0 and 5.9. They are from the GE iFIX SCADA system. And if you see, as per the GE policy, your current version, that is 6.1, and previous 2 versions are basically supported versions. So currently 5.9, 6.0, and 6.1 are under support. 5.8 is under extended support, and 5.5 and prior versions are not supported. So we always recommend to like you upgrade this to latest version to get basically like latest features as well as latest operating system support and latest versions available in your system. So we'll move towards like new features which are available with iFIX 6.0 as like 6.1 and 6.0 release. There is no huge span. So we'll also go through the some of the features which are available with 6.0. So like 6.0, I think one of the major feature or major changes which GE has done in 6.0 is like tag names. So earlier we had a restriction for 30 characters. So you can define your tag names up to 30 characters. So now that is increased up to 256. So you can define tag name as well as description up to 256 characters. So this is a major change in a database structure of the iFIX. And what this does is that it will help you to to go through complete hierarchy in your SCADA tag name, so that you can easily identify your tag name on like a model driven context. So like in this example, they have given site, area, line, machine, temperature. Obviously, for all the tags, it is not possible to give you such a big name, but still for critical tags or some important tags which need to be identified easily, for those you can give this long tag names as well as description. So this is the one major feature. And then obviously with this there are certain limitation, is like 6.0 cannot basically your old clients will not be able to connect to 6.0. So you need to have your client upgraded to connect to 6.0 due to some major database related changes. So this is the one feature which they have added in 6.0, long tag names and descriptions. Then next is like alarm shelving. So GE is basically adding more and more features into their product from technology as well as from ISS standard point of view. So if you see, there is one ISS standard 18.2 which says that you should have temporary hide or silence alarm for a predefined period of time for certain nonsense alarm, so that in many like cases, if some issue with the sensor or device, you get basically some nonsense alarm which are not required at that point in the SCADA system. So you can define basically alarm shelving in the runtime. You can define certain predefined period policies or time policies, and you can select those policies during runtime. If you see here in like configuration in iFIX database, you can define certain shell policies, and so those policies can be applied directly in runtime if you right click to alarm summary of the iFIX. So this shelving will basically hide or shell your alarm for that particular policy duration, and it will automatically show you those alarm once the policies expire. So this is another feature which they have added in 6.0. Apart from that, I think one of the major feature is OPC UA Server. So as he is adding more technology updates, so moving forward, like or most of the cases, this OPC UA is a new generation protocol from OPC Foundation, and it is very useful as well as it is very easy to configure if you want to provide data to third-party system from iFIX. So most of the cases when you like implement SCADA system in or if you use SCADA system in the plant, most of the cases you require this data to be available for third-party system like L3 layer systems like MES or even SAP MIS system or even other high-end analysis systems. So OPC UA Server is available with iFIX, which can provide data like real-time data as well as alarm and events data to like third-party system. So this OPC UA server is available by default with the iFIX for two connections. So for two connection, OPC UA server is available with iFIX 6.0, and it is very secure. It will have like security certificates, even authentication when client access the data. So all authentication and secure data will be transferred to OPC UA client. So this is the major feature which is available with OPC iFIX 6.0. Then there are certain enhancement in case of security. So iFIX uses basically its own security as well as Windows security, and most of the customers or end users, they have domain available for their organization. So iFIX can use that domain security in iFIX SCADA system, so that we can easily integrate with the existing security policy of any organization. So if you see here, they have added support for domain caching. So with this, when you basically connect to any domain, and in some cases if there are certain network issues, so those domain user will be cached in iFIX system, so that even though network is not available, you can log into that particular user so that your SCADA operation will not be impacted. So domain caching is the feature which they have added with 6.0. Then they have added support for multiple domain. It may happen that there are multiple domain in organization, and you want to basically use those multiple domains in iFIX security. So that support they have added. You can use multiple domains with iFIX security. So these are certain enhancement related to like security. And obviously the recent version which is available with iFIX is 6.1, which is released in January 2020. So if you see 6.1, as per the 6.0, as UA server was added, so they have also added UA client now in iFIX. So we can connect to any OPC UA server through iFIX OPC UA client driver. So this option is available with iFIX license. You can use this and it is basically native driver. So always if you have native driver, you're using native driver along with iFIX SCADA system, the performance will be very good. So you can use UA client driver to connect to any OPC UA server. And the most interesting thing about this OPC UA server is like it provides web-based configuration. So you can see here left hand side, this kind of configuration will be available for this OPC UA client. And you can use this in iFIX redundancy as well as SCADA synchronization. And once you browse any endpoint or any OPC UA server in UA client, it will browse all the data, and you can in driver level itself, you can directly configure the iFIX database tags, or you can say once you browse the tags in OPC UA client, there is option to automatically create those tags in database. So it will also reduce your development time, so that you just need to browse the tags and just generate the tags in iFIX database. So it will automatically available in your iFIX database. So these are some of the features which is adding to the development time of your project. So this is a very good feature which is available with 6.1. Then if you see there is another type or licensing type available with iFIX 6.1. Earlier it was named as a iFIX embedded, and it was supported up to Windows 7 embedded OS. Now it is renamed as iFIX for IoT, and it is available for some specific tag tiers. It starts from starter kit of 100 tags, then 500, then 1000 and 1500. This is specifically for OEMs or device manufacturer who want SCADA system to run on Windows 10 IoT systems with lower specifications. So this IoT version is very useful for that. And one thing which they have added, it is mainly meant for standalone systems, but they have added client also now in this. You can also connect thick runtime client. And one of the limitations with this iFIX IoT is it runs as a runtime only. So you can purchase iFIX IoT with runtime license only. There is no development option available in iFIX IoT. And obviously you can add, if you want to use this to specific to pharma sector or any other sector which require e-signature, so you can add those options. You can also add network for server client architecture. If you want to add UA client driver, that can be also added. And one I think interesting thing is with iFIX IoT, you get IGS included free of cost. So it is included with iFIX IoT version. So this is again one of the benefits of iFIX IoT. So then we'll move forward to some of the general enhancement which GE has done in iFIX 6.1. So if you see here, they have added certain configuration for a historian. So if you are going to use multiple historian and you want to create aliases for all those sessions, that can be done through this OPC iFIX Webspace, not Webspace, Workspace. So that option is there. And they have also added when you start iFIX SCADA system, it starts with certain user. So earlier there was limitation that you need to use iFIX user during the startup or auto login user. So now they have added Windows account also. You can use Windows account to during the startup of the iFIX SCADA, so that it will be automatically logged into your SCADA system with Windows user. So and obviously with each version of iFIX, they are adding support to latest operating system. So iFIX support all the latest operating systems like 2000 Server 2019, Windows 10. So all the latest operating system 2016 are supported. And apart from that, obviously, whatever database versions are there, like SQL Server 2017, 2019, those are supported with iFIX. So these are some like enhancement which they have done in iFIX. And iFIX is always adding certain dynamos to its workspace, and they have added certain high performance dynamos. These are added in, I think, 5.9 itself with certain themes, but they are always enhancing those dynamos. This typical dynamo is for like some process value gauges, linear gauges or horizontal gauges. So they have added alarm limits. This is again from like as per the ISA standard. So if you see here, they have added smart limits. You can see here for this humidity, it is showing L and H. So it will always show you like the smart limits. Like if your current value is 59, it will always show you two alarm limits surrounded by that value. So currently this value is 59, and the alarm limits which are surrounded with that value is L and H. If it goes beyond H, it will show H and HH. So this kind of some minor enhancement they are doing with the high performance dynamos. So this can be also used so that operator can easily identify any alarm from just looking at that particular gauge itself. So this is very useful. And obviously one major feature which comes with iFIX is like historian. So earlier up to 5.9 iFIX supports classic historian, which was like part of the iFIX SCADA. But now from 6.0 onwards, the iFIX classic historian is not supported. So they have given more advanced historian, that is historian essential, along with iFIX. And with iFIX 6.1, you get basically 6.8.0 historian 8.0. So if you see here, like whatever tag counts are available for iFIX, like right from 75 to unlimited, you get respective historian essential permanent tag count, and you also get certain tag count which is like SCADA buffer, which can be stored up to 200 days. So there might be requirement that you want to store certain process data for longer duration, and certain train data you can store up to 6 months, like 200 days. So you can configure up to 2500 tags under SCADA buffer data storing historian essential, and you can store 100 tags under permanent data store, permanent user data store. So this is available along with the iFIX. And apart from that, obviously you get Win911, which is like SMS and email notification software, which comes included with iFIX for 2 users. Obviously some of the like basic versions for historian as well as Win911 are included with the iFIX license. And if you want to go beyond that, other versions or higher versions are also available with license cost. So, and one major thing which they have added, like they are giving now separate activation code for historian essential. So with this, you can activate your historian on separate machine also, or you can use that historian with any other system also, any other iFIX SCADA system itself. So these are some additional feature. And if you like use redundant SCADA system, you can easily add a redundant collector option in historian essential itself. So it will no need to go for historian standard in that case. To reduce the cost, you can always add a certain or pay certain small amount, which will add collector redundancy option, and you can use historian essential. Because if you see, if you are having like larger tag count like 10,000 or 30,000 unlimited, you get basically 1,000 of historian permanent storage, as well as for 30,000 and unlimited you get 10,000 of SCADA buffer. So those may be enough for most of the SCADA system. So obviously if you want to go beyond 1,000 tag permanent storage, you have to go for historian standard. That we'll see in like historian updates, what are the options available with historian standard as well as enterprise. But from iFIX perspective, these are the some updates which are available with like 6.1 and 6.0, which I wanted to basically share. um, I think next will be Cimplicity. So Cimplicity is, I think, another SCADA system which is available from GE Digital, and and it is basically latest version of Cimplicity is 11. And one of the major enhancement which GE is doing in Cimplicity SCADA system is like rapid application development tools. They are adding more and more rapid application development tools so that you can basically reduce your time to development. And apart from that, there are certain technology updates also. like latest operating system, as well as Prophecy Historian array support, which is unique to like Cimplicity. If you configure certain array tags in Prophecy Historian, those array tags can be easily configured in Cimplicity using array feature. So Cimplicity provide feature called as derived tags. Those are commonly used by most of the Cimplicity customers to reduce the license tag count. And they have also like adding certain tools like REST API, so that you can do certain customization on top of Cimplicity to do certain remote configuration. So we'll go through some of the features which are available in Cimplicity 11. Cimplicity, GE has added like both the options are there, like UA server, UA client, both the options are there. And similar to iFIX, they have this OPC UA client in web-based environment, web-based configuration. And it also, you can just browse the tags. It will automatically generate those tags in your Cimplicity database. In Cimplicity, tags are called as a points. So this OPC UA with auto discovery feature is available in Cimplicity. So there is one add-on called Global Discovery Server available with Cimplicity, which is included with the license, so that if there are like multiple OPC UA server on the network, it can basically easily manage those all OPC UA server certificates as well as its connections. So there is one tool which is available with Simplicity, that is called as the GDS, which is very helpful to like manage your certificates with larger number of UA servers. So UA client, UA server, both the options are available with Cimplicity. And from like development perspective, rapid application development perspective, they have added certain ready-made feature. Earlier, some of the feature required certain scripting, like text animation support required certain variables to be written. So now they have added that as a default feature. You can even like tooltip. So tooltip is a very small feature, but like if you like move your cursor to certain object, it will show certain description to operator, so that you can easily identify the equipment description or identify that particular equipment. So those for that tooltip justification or multi-line tooltips or rounded corner, those kind of features, they are like added by default. Even for faceplate, you can remove the system menu from the title bar. You can even pin the faceplates. So this some small features are added, which for those features are also possible with earlier version, but you need to do certain scripting. With now they have added certain default options or configuration in Cimplicity SCADA system. So apart from that, Cimplicity uses basically certain objects to build your graphics. So like in iFIX, there is a smart dynamo feature. So like if you want to use a certain asset in like multiple graphics, so like pump, similar kind of object will be used in multiple graphics. So you can create basically dynamos, smart dynamos, so that if any changes has to be done at that particular object, it can be done at a master level, and so those all instances will be automatically changed. In Cimplicity, classes and object feature is there. It is more advanced comparative to Smart Dynamo, and you can basically configure certain classes and then its instances in objects, and you can easily use those objects in your graphics. And now they have added like browsing facility for all these classes, so that during screen development you can easily browse this. Earlier you need to manually enter those some of the classes. So those features they have added to reduce your development time. Then obviously scripting. So scripting is one of the advantages or major highlights of the Cimplicity. Is like it is very powerful in Cimplicity. You can use a threading. If some of the customer are aware about like .NET programming, in .NET programming they use like multiple threads, so that your program execution or code which you have developed execution will be very efficient. It will use your CPU and memory uses according to your threading. So that threading option is available, and they have included threading pool in Cimplicity to enhance scripting performance. And there are certain small enhancements available with Cimplicity, like earlier when you basically want to go through the alarm history. So now they have added support for wildcard expression, so that you can easily give certain wildcard and search through the particular alarm history. For change approval, that is e-signature, they have added to see the current as well as new value, so that you can see what is the current value and set value for that particular tag. And obviously for each of the GE products like iFIX, Cimplicity, Historian, they have added online documentation. So you can easily go to this ge.com documentation site, and you can go through the documentation part. You'll get all the documentation available on that site. You can easily save as to PDF to share with somebody. And obviously for a database storage for status log, so any logs like diagnostics log or status log available at Cimplicity, they are now we are logging those data to databases, so that you can easily filter that data with certain like column or certain row. So those features are added. And obviously Cimplicity possesses all these drivers right from OPC UA, GE's native driver, then Allen Bradley Ethernet, Modbus. So those drivers are included. Apart from that, if you want to like use if you want to communicate with any or multiple mix of PLCs, you can easily use IGS driver along with Cimplicity. But again, IGS is a chargeable license, so you can purchase that along with Cimplicity. So similar to iFIX, Cimplicity also use this Historian add-on. So as per the tires available in Cimplicity tag, we can basically use Cimplicity along with Historian Essential. So if you see, there are certain changes. Mainly the 700 tag count is not available with iFIX, so it is available with Cimplicity. And accordingly, Historian Essential and Historian Essential SCADA buffer tag counts are available with Cimplicity. So it is similar to iFIX. So Historian add-on is available with Cimplicity. So these are the some of the like major features which are available with Cimplicity 11. I think it's time to now move towards Webspace. Just Webspace, Proficy Webspace, we'll go through some of the basic to understand like what is Webspace. So I think some of the customer are want to know the difference between like thick client and thin client. So thick client are nothing but a client where you install that software component on the client system also. Like those are conventional client. So with iFIX SCADA system as well as Cimplicity SCADA system, we provide thick client as a conventional client where you will install some software component on the client system, and through the network you will connect, and you'll be able to like browse all the tags, and you can configure certain graphics in client system. So in case of server client, obviously your database will be located on server system. So nowadays, most of the customer are using thin client, Webspace. So in case of Webspace, there will be one Webspace server, and all the clients will be connected through URL, or and those can be connected on intranet as well as internet. So you don't need to install any like component on client system. You just need to put that URL, and just obviously it will be authenticated. Username, password will be required to access your SCADA, and then you will be able to see the client. So the thin client Webspace is common for GE Cimplicity SCADA as well as iFIX SCADA. And if you see, and major I think advantage with Webspace is like it is a full featured web and mobile client. So you can easily access your client on any computer which is having web browser. There are certain supported web browser, and you can also access those on mobile or iPads. So there are dedicated apps for that Webspace client, so that you can use that apps to access your SCADA system. And obviously this is a thin client option, so it will require a zero client configuration. You don't require any client configuration, or your client system specification also is not required to be high on a higher side. So these are advantages. Then obviously whatever project you have developed in iFIX SCADA system, all the things like any reports, whatever, those things will be available in Webspace client without reprogramming those things. Full operator control will be there. Obviously you can restrict operator control through security, so same security users will be applicable on Webspace client also. And iFIX Webspace supports 70 client for iFIX, maximum 70 clients, and maximum 120 clients for Cimplicity. and it also support e-signature for security and auditing purpose. So these are some of the like highlights of Webspace. And if you see from architecture perspective, so this is how Webspace will be used. So if you see here, so this is basically your SCADA server and Webspace server. So for fewer client, like two clients, you can use your Webspace server on SCADA server itself, and there will be like classic client, like thick client, and apart from that there will be this kind of a thin client, like which can access your data on like computers or tablets or mobile. So and obviously this is very secured. So even through internet also it uses 256-bit encryption. So it is very secured. SSL security is there for like thin client. And obviously if you want to use it for more than 3 clients, we recommend to go for separate Webspace server. So in this architecture you can see here there is a separate SCADA server and separate Webspace server. So there are these basically two types of Webspace licensing, on SCADA and separate SCADA. So this Webspace server will then any number of clients which are connected to this Webspace server, so those resources will be managed by this Webspace server. So it will not impact your SCADA server performance. So this is how Webspace can be used on SCADA as well as separate SCADA separate server. So these are some of the sample architecture for Webspace. And as I told you, these two options are there, not on SCADA. It means it is a standalone Webspace server. For fewer client, you can go for on SCADA. And with 6.0, which is the latest version of Webspace, there are few options available, is like load balance application. If you are using Webspace for more than maybe 25 or 30 clients, you can use this dependent server, so that this relay server will share the load balance between this dependent servers. So relay server will manage the load so that each client will be efficiently able to browse the data on respective client. So again, if you want redundancy at relay server level, so you can use again relay server redundancy with load balance and high availability. Obviously, this option number 3 and 4 will be used in basically when you want to have more than 25, 30, or even large number of clients along with Webspace. So these options are there with Webspace licensing. Then we'll move. I think prior to moving to Webspace 6, I think I want to share one thing is if you want to use e-signature feature in Webspace, for that you should go, or you have to go with not on SCADA or standalone Webspace server option. In on SCADA Webspace server, e-signature option is not available. So for that, independent or standalone Webspace server is required. So this is about the licensing and some of the basic part of the Webspace. Obviously, licensing will depend on number of clients which are going to connect to Webspace server, and whether it is on SCADA server or it is on standalone server. Then some of the features which are available with Webspace 6.0, which is the latest version of the Webspace, are this. So if you see, earlier when we used to use Webspace, and when you browse the Webspace server on one of the browsers in client system, you need to install some small add-ons. But with Webspace 6, they have added HTML5 technology in the Webspace 6, so that HTML5 supported browsers can access Webspace server. So with this, now you don't need to install any installation on client, small add-ons or nothing are required. Just type the URL, you will be able to see the Webspace client. And obviously they have added support for Mac OS X, and as they are using now HTML5 technology, it is more responsive layout will be more efficient, because if you use similar graphic with mobile, it will automatically adjust its layout, and it will basically, due to HTML5 technology, it will be more usable in case of mobile devices also. So responsive layout feature is added due to HTML5, and as we discussed, it has a strong encryption with SSL and TLS encryption using 256-bit AES, and obviously it supports like latest operating system also, like 2019. So we recommend to use basically for a higher number of clients, it is recommended to use server OS. For lower 2-3 clients or up to 5 clients, you can use Windows 10 also. So this is like, these are some of the new features which are available. I think major change is HTML5, so it can be used in mobile and other application as well as. And also performance wise, HTML5 is much better. So these are the some of the operating systems which are supported with Webspace, right from Windows 7 up to like Windows 2019. All operating systems are supported. Even on virtual environment also, with VMware, ESXi or Microsoft Hyper-V, it is supported. And it uses some of the hardware specifications are there. If anybody want to use Webspace, they can mail us. We can provide also recommended hardware specification, and you can always go to the release note of the product so that you can get some idea about hardware specification required. So, but we can also provide the same to required users. And obviously these are some of the client operating system supported. It can work on any like Windows 7, 8.110, even iOS is supported, Android OS are supported, even browsers from a point of view, Internet Explorer 11, like Mozilla, Safari, Google Chrome, all are supported. So these are the updates about like Webspace 6. So I think finally, we will go through the historian part. So I think most of you may be using historian essential part, which comes with iFIX or Cimplicity SCADA system. So to just give you some brief about historian, we'll go through the basics, and obviously in new features we'll be going through the like recent versions which are released for historian. Those are like 7.1, 7.2 and 8.0. Actually G is adding more features to historian, and they are now releasing this product in some lesser span, but still we can go through like at least 3 recent version features which they have added in historian. So first, like what is G is historian? So G historian is nothing but a software application that collects your industrial data in time series format, and it collects that data in very high speed. It supports up to millisecond, 100 millisecond collection interval, and it stores that data in time series format very securely. It distributes that data to various third-party application as well as its own SCADA systems or own applications with very for analysis purpose. So historian is basically nothing but a process historian which stores data in time series format. And if you see here some of the basic component of the historian, if you see like all the blue color components are included with historian, and sky blue are like separate components. So if you see here, like historian basically uses collector to collect data from their various sources. And so if you see here, it can connect to its own historian. We can like store, or you can push data from G historian to another G historian. Then other historians like OSAPI, Wonderware, those historians are also supported. Then some of the file collectors are there. It can collect data from CSV or XML files, and mostly SCADA system for using OPC. So there are various types of collectors available with GHistorian, and that collector pushes data to basically historian server, where though that data will be stored in archive format, in time series format, and those archives are patented by G with some compression technique. And those can be configured through this historian administrator, which is a Windows application available for historian configuration. And obviously with historian you get web admin console and web trend client. So those options are available in standard and enterprise version, web admin console, web trend client, to like configure as well as do some basic trend analysis on top of historian. So, and obviously using certain APIs which are available with historian, you can basically configure or you can develop your own application using this APIs. And also there is Excel add-in available with historian to connect or browse your historical data for some basic reporting purpose. So why G historian so if you see like various solution versus relational database, obviously most of the process industries required time series specific data. So historian provides that, and due to its compression technique, the storage required is very less, or it uses cheaper storage. So if you store data of like 10 GB in SQL, similar data data to store similar data, it will require only 1 GB, almost 1/10 of the size of the SQL in case of historian. So it is very useful if you compare it with relational database. And native collectors are there. In case of SQL, you need to write certain codes or certain connectivity connectors you need to develop to log data to SQL. But in case of historian, native collectors are there. You can easily collect the data. So your deployment time for solution will be very less. Some of the people also uses SQL to store data, but obviously it is not meant to store data. You can store certain amount of data in Excel also, but if you compare it with Excel, it is a single source of truth. So that in case of Excel, you need to maintain multiple files. So in case of historian, obviously your data will be stored in a single system with single database, and it is obviously secured comparative to SQL. And in SQL, obviously there will be certain limitation to store the data, but in case of historian, you can go up to 20 million tags with sub-second collection rate. And if you compare it with other historian, obviously there are certain process historian available in the market, but this G historian is a proven product with more than like 20 plus years of experience, and it provides enterprise level solutioning with its strong product portfolio. Apart from like historian, G has iFIX, SCADA. There are other products like Webspace, or even now they are coming up with the operations hub, which is like visualization platform for all these products. MES systems are there, or batch systems are there. So using this portfolio, you can have like better solution along with the historian. And obviously there are certain visualization tools available with the historian, which are like web trend client or operation hub trend analysis app, which we'll discuss in further slide. So these are some of the advantages on top of historian or with the historian. So to just go through the collector, I'll just go through briefly. Like collector provides certain advantages. Like there are OPC collectors. There are various types of collector. Those can collect data from any OPC UA server or DA server. There are OPC AE collectors, which can collect data from any like OPC AE server. There are file collectors, which will collect data from XML or CSV files. Calculation collector, which can do certain calculation on top of your data. Simulation collector for simulation purpose. Then there are certain toolkits to like customize your collectors or get certain information from the collector. Wonderware and OSAP are like third-party historian collector. iFIX collector is native collector for iFIX SCADA. Performance and monitor collector is basically you can monitor Windows performance like CPU uses or certain services uses. Those can be managed using this performance and monitor collector. Server to server collector is used to like collect data between two servers, historian servers. Similarly, distributor is used for same, but there are certain like disadvantages or maybe limitation with server to server distributor. So main advantage of collector is like it provides you like facility to store and forward. So if your collector is on separate or remote machine and your historian server is running on a separate machine and there is a network connection breakage, collector will buffer the data or store the data in locally, and once connection resumes, it will forward that data. So store and forward is one of the major feature or unique feature with the process historian. We can also decide the timestamp for your data so that you can synchronize collector and archive timestamp. So there are many features which are available with collectors. So we'll move towards like other interfaces which are available with historian. So historian support like REST APIs or most of the user APIs, system API, to have customized development. It supports basically Excel add-in to fetch data from historian database, OLEDB to fetch data from historian. It also supports ODBC collector to collect data from relational databases. It also support HDA server, so that system can fetch data using OPC HDA, and it also supports OPC UA and DA collector. So these are some of the connect interfaces available with historian. So moving forward, we'll just go through, these are snapshots for web admin console, which is for diagnosis purpose or configuration purpose, and this is snapshot of web train client, which is a basic trained analysis available with the historian. You can create your favorites and easily see the trends, and you can train those trends with a statistic information. So these are purely browser based, easily browse those on even laptops like Windows 7 or Windows 10 operating systems. And I'll just go through briefly about historian licensing. So most of you are using historian essential, which we already discussed, which comes with iFIX or Cimplicity SCADA, and it supports basically all the basic collectors and respective tag count. And it supports basically 5 data stores and 2 cals. Cals are nothing but client access licenses, like Excel add-in consume 1 cal, or somebody is connecting using OLEDB that consume cal. So those client access license are available, 2 numbers with essential, and data store are nothing but a bunch of archives can be stored in one data store, so that you can have multiple data stores, so that when you retrieve the data, your query performance will be very efficient, so that you can store data in separate data stores. So by default 5 data stores are available. If you want to go beyond 1000 tag, you can go with standard edition up to 50,000, and there are certain added collector options in standard edition. And standard edition also support REST API for customized web-based application development, or fetching do or configure certain customized application on top of historian. It supports this web train client, web admin console, and there are basically 10 data store, even though its slide mentioned 5, but there are 10 data store available with standard edition and 5 cals. And if you want to go beyond the standard 50,000, you can go with enterprise edition, up to 20 million tags, and it supports this server to server collector calculation. Even it supports data mirroring, like high availability in case of historian. You can have one primary server and one mirrors node available with the historian. So and 20 data store are supported with the enterprise edition. So this is just a brief about historian licensing, and I think we will move towards the new features which are available with historian. So as I told you, recently historian or latest version of historian is 8.0, but we'll also go through briefly about features which they have added in 7.1 and 7.2. So 7.1, they have added or strengthened certain security related features, they have added support for complex active directory, like multiple domains. So that you can also use Windows security along with historian. So this is the major change. Then from performance improvement point of view, they have added one feature that is called defragmentation of archives. So like in Windows system, if our PC gets slow, we normally do this disk defragmentation. So similarly with historian, they have added this defragmentation feature, so that all the required data will be available in contiguous format. And once you query to the data, your query performance will improve almost by 5 times. So this defragmentation is a very good feature. Then they have added certain small features like wildcard search in case of web admin or web train client, data recovery in case of OPC HDA collector, so that you can recover your data even though there was a network connection breakage between your collector and server. So apart from store and forward, this is also one feature which is available with SDA collector, because your data is available in historical format at your source level. Then they have enhanced certain installation of OPC collector so that you can easily do the collector installation for a number of collectors. And right from other products, GE has also added online documentation for historian. So that documentation is available on GE digital site. So we'll move towards 7.2, G Historian 7.2. So in 7.2, they have added SQL collector, so that now with Historian, you can collect data from any SQL server. Suppose you have one SQL system or server in your plant, you want to collect certain data to Historian, that is also possible, and display that data in iFIX or maybe iFIX trending, or use it in iFIX reporting. That is also possible using SQL collector. They have added certain enhancement in OPC UA, some security related enhancement in OPC UA collector, so that you can put your security profiles along with the OPC UA collector. They have also added OSI snapshot support for the user who want very high frequency data to be collected from OSI historian. So OSI store that data in archives only, but prior to that, that data is available with snapshot. So that snapshot collection is directly available with GHistorian. And apart from that, one major change was like this OPC SDA server. So now earlier versions of Historian, it supports a raw data format of OPC SDA server, so that when third-party system connects to Historian using OPC SDA, they used to get a raw data from Historian. But now they have added certain aggregations like minimum, maximum, before, average. So those are some of the calculated data you'll get from OPC SDA server of the Historian. So that feature is added, and obviously we discuss this 10K count is added in iFIX iFIX tires for Historian Essential. Then I think other updates are mainly they have added or fixed certain 20 plus issues with this version. There were certain minor issues which they have added. So this 7.2 and onwards versions are more robust comparative to previous version. And obviously they have done certain internal changes related to Oracle Java. Instead of Oracle Java, they are using Open JDK for some commercial purposes. Obviously, so this 10K SCADA buffer change is applicable with Historian 7.2 itself. So that is available. And Historian 7 license will work with 7.1, but 7.2 or 8.0 will require upgraded license. And finally, for like Historian 8, I think one of the major change or feature which they have added is Operations Hub. So Operation Hub will be like GE's visualization platform for all their Proficy portfolio products, as well as they are going to add certain third-party connectors like SQL database or OPC UA to collect data to Operation Hub and visualize that data. So Operation Hub is nothing but like a modern visualization platform, so that where you can design your application, industrial application, using certain widgets and create the dashboards. So with Historian 8.0, Operations Hub 1.5 premium version, that is free version, is included. And it will give you certain features like there is a predefined trend analysis app which provides various additional features in trend analysis. And the Operation Hub, you can basically navigate your data using asset model context like ISA 95 structure. So your navigation to your asset data will be very easier. They also added certain enhancement related to APIs, which we'll go through in upcoming slide. And obviously, they are using for this web admin console or operations hub. They are using UA, which is user authentication and authorization service, which is basically common across all the GE products, so that we can have common user store for all the products, and it can be integrated with your Windows security, your Windows Active Directory. So this is very useful for authentication purpose. So if you see, like to just give you brief about Operation Hub, is like you can see some of the snapshots of these trending apps or trend analysis app. So it supports like model based tags. It support favorites, so you can store the group chat groups. It support annotation also. You can give at certain point, if you want to do certain comments, you can give that to this train. It will store that annotation in historian database, and easily you can just identify that particular issue in using historical trend itself. It support multiple slider. You can have like multiple slider, like you want to see the production count between certain time, you can just put multiple like slider and see the production count. Or I mean, there may be other use cases also. You'll always see the statistic details like minimum, max, average, standard deviation for your historical chart. Printing possibilities there. You can also export your data to CSV format. So these are the some of the advanced options which are available with the Operation Hub. And obviously they are going to add certain features to Operation Hub in upcoming releases in Q4 of this year, maybe iFIX or Cimplicity connections also. So this will be very useful product. So with free version, you get this basic trend analysis app. And if you want to do certain customization, obviously you need to go for licensing. Um, so this is the one of the major feature which they have added with Historian 8.0. And apart from that, obviously we have discussed certain features like API. So most of our customer are using REST API for certain web-based application on top of Historian. So it supports this write data functionality, tag renaming, and now certain performance related enhancements are there. In Java API also are included, as a Java is open platform. So GE has given certain Java APIs also, so that end user can develop their customized app, or we can provide customized app on top of Historian using Java APIs or references. So apart from that, they have added MQTT collector. So I think most of you may be knowing IoT. So for Internet of Things or IoT devices, MQTT is very standard protocol, so that we can connect to any IoT device using this protocol and collect its data in Historian for time series storage purpose. So MQTT collector is available with Historian, G Historian. So you can collect data from any IoT device or any source which supports MQTT collector, or sorry, MQTT server or a broker. And obviously they have given certain changes in APIs to track your collector versions. So using that, there are certain tools which can track your collector versions. So if you are in plant, there are multiple installation of collectors, you can easily track your collector, so that you can it is recommended to have your Historian server and collector version, similar version, so that you'll get a better performance while collecting the data. So for that, certain tools are available. So I think these are the some of the updates which we wanted to share for like iFIX, Cimplicity, Webspace, and the Historian product. So I think Rahul can
Yes.
move towards question and answer session. So
Yes. Thanks a lot, Nilesh. So we have covered the overview of the latest updates from SCADA systems of iFIX, then the Cimplicity. Then we had looked at some of the basics and updates about the Webspace, and then the historian details also. So we have a couple of questions already, and you can still type in your questions, so we can go one by one to those questions. So I will start. Some of the questions are there. Like one of the questions was related with the scan time of the historian 8.0. So I think has already said that it is a millisecond, right?
Yeah, 8.0. See, it supports millisecond scan time up to 100 millisecond. But it also depends on your data source from where you are collecting the data. So minimum data collection is 100 millisecond.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, absolutely. And additionally, also we can provide you the detailed data sheets and other things where all these things are mentioned in much more detail also. Yeah. Then there was another question was related with the iFIX, what is the approach for the cases where we require more than two connections? So I think it is related with the multiple connections with the PLCs or the devices. So we have multiple drivers available either with the IGS, which is additional product, or even in the included in the iFIX also. So multiple connections will be possible. And if because this question is not things are not clear, but I can assume that if it is from PLC side, of course, multiple connections are possible. And if it is from the
Yeah,
client,
I think
it is possible.
yeah, just to add what Paul is saying,
Yeah.
and from client perspective, obviously you can use thick client to have multiple connection to iFIX, or you can use Webspace also. And thick client are supported up to 200. Webspace is supported up to 60. And if you're talking about UA server connections, then currently 2 connections are supported. You can go up to 8 connection also, but with some license support.
Exactly. And then there was some question that some of our customers are already using iFIX 5.1 right now. So I think you must have seen this version history at the beginning of this presentation for iFIX. So there are huge changes till from 5.1 till the latest version. So we'll recommend that if you want to explore the new feature, it will be easily possible to upgrade the existing system. This 5.1 can be upgraded to the latest version. Even then, you will get support for the latest operating systems and other things. So we can work it out in detail for that. That would be the case. And there were some of the general questions. So after this webinar, we'll be sending you the email where you will get all the contact details and other things. So anyway, like me, the Rahul Kulkarni, then Nilesh from my team will be available for all the technical queries to be solved. And we have our sales team located at different locations in Delhi, Bangalore, Mumbai, and other places also. So you can also contact our sales team directly. So those names and other things also we can share with you. And additionally, the email which you will be getting after this webinar will be from our marketing team. So you can also reply on that email also. So that is also fine. So that we can do it and we can take it further and do it. So there is another question coming up. Just a second. While using the SCADA system, iFIX or Cimplicity, what should be the major criteria? Choosing either iFIX or Cimplicity.
So I think there is no as such criteria, but see both are SCADA system, but it depends on certain. See, there will be certain features which are more powerful with iFIX or more powerful with Cimplicity, but there are like majority of cases where you want to do like certain customization or certain development. It's like possible with both the products. So there is no as such criteria, but obviously more of like discrete manufacturing systems are more using Cimplicity, and process industries are more using iFIX, but it is not limited to such like verticals. So at this moment, both the products are having all the like features, but it depends on, in some cases it may also depend on your commercial also. So you can also look into that. But feature perspective, I think both the products are equivalent.
Yeah, and there is another question related with the Crystal report. So typically, Crystal report is a separate software which is not a part of iFIX or Simplicity.
Yeah,
But
I think,
yeah, but yeah,
yeah, and just to add, instead of, obviously now Crystal report is with Oracle, and so instead of Crystal report, GE also provide one software called as a Dream report for Proficiency. So that you can use for this reporting development requirement. We can also share maybe data sheet of Dream report along with you.
uh, exactly. And there are a few more questions coming up. I will just read it out one by one. Possibility of using ArchiveDB for schedule management and production reports. This ArchiveDB, I'm assuming that this could be with the historian or some report generation from iFIX.
Yes, we can use this Histon Archive DB for this kind of report. Normally, this kind of reports are developed along with this product called plant application in like MES product. So it uses basically historian database to like generate this kind of reports. But using customized utility also, you can develop such kind of reports if all the required parameters from your control system are available to stored in historian.
Exactly. Then are the legacy collectors available with Historian 8? Maybe which Historian collector do we use for simplicity? So these are the two questions related with
So
the
for
Historian.
yeah, for simplicity, we use basically OPC DA collector, or we can also use OPC UA collector to collect data from simplicity. And legacy collector are basically with Histon 8.0, those are not available.
And related with the historian redundancy, so there is a historian mirroring option is available. So that can be, but it is with the historian standard. That was those were some of the questions came up. And again, there are some general questions regarding the licensing and other things. So those will be anyway. We'll be sharing this all the details with you. So those maybe we'll wait for a 2-3 minutes more for if a few more questions are there. I think we covered. But overall, if you see, so apart from only the iFIX and Simplicity, we have the other products also, and which will be in your overall system architecture, you can incorporate those tools like Historian or Webspace or the latest new software operations hub. This we can explore with you along with the iFIX and Simplicity, so SCADA systems. Yeah. So there are, I think, no more questions. So I think we can close the webinar session. So anyway, we'll be in touch with you. So we'll be sending you the details. So you can revert us back on that email itself, or you can also contact with our sales team, which is already in contact with you, and we can have further solutioning for you or any of your projects. So we have a dedicated team as a pre-sales team, like me and Nilesh are from this pre-sales team, where we will be responsible for complete solution designing. And after sales also, we have good service team also for all these products. So you will be always getting a support from us. for all this. So I thank you very much for your time and attending this webinar. So we'll be in touch. So thanks a lot, everyone. Be safe. Sure. Thank you.
Yeah.